Ever wonder what happens when someone tries to copy Disneyland and completely misses the mark? We all know Disneyland is the gold standard of theme parks, a place where magic is meant to last forever. But around the world, some folks thought, hey, we can do that too, only to end up with projects that went spectacularly off the rails. Today, we're going to explore 5 abandoned parks that tried to mimic Disney's magic, but ended up as eerie monuments to wild ambition, bad planning, and a whole lot of money thrown down the drain. These aren't just forgotten places. They're controversial relics that tell a story of dreams turned sour. Let's break in. Nara Dreamland, Japan's eerie knockoff. First up, Nara Dreamland in Japan. If you've ever stumbled across photos of an abandoned theme park with eerie echoes of Disneyland, you're looking at this place. Opened in 1961, Nara Dreamland was designed as a near-carbon copy of Disneyland, right down to its own version of Main Street, a fairy tale castle, and even a monorail. But unlike Disney's kingdom of endless reinvention, Nara Dreamland struggled to keep up. Japan's real Disneyland opened in Tokyo in 1983, and suddenly, Dreamland's magic wasn't so magical anymore. Visitor numbers plummeted, maintenance slowed, and by 2006, the gates closed for good. Walking through Nara Dreamland today is like stepping into a post-apocalyptic version of Disneyland. The roller coasters sit frozen in time, their once bright tracks now covered in rust. Empty concession stands whisper of a time when crowds lined up for snacks and souvenirs. It's eerie, haunting, and oddly mesmerizing. Some urban explorers claim the park has a ghostly feel. Others see it as a time capsule, a dream abandoned before it had a chance to evolve. Either way, it's a chilling reminder that just because something looks like Disney doesn't mean it has the same kind of staying power. Not all dreams are built to last. Some crumble into ruins, waiting for nature to take back what was never meant to be. Disneyland, Florida's faux fantasy. Florida's most bizarre attempt at capturing Disney's magic. Picture this. It's the late 80s, and a group of overambitious entrepreneurs decide they can replicate Disneyland's success, but with their own twist. Their vision? A thrilling, immersive theme park that could rival the original. Their execution? A disaster. Disneyland opened with a lineup of rides and attractions designed to mirror Disney's charm, but almost immediately, cracks started to show. Budget cuts led to cheap construction, breakdowns were constant, and the entire operation was plagued by financial problems. Within just a few years, the park was barely holding on, and soon after, it was abandoned entirely. Today, Disneyland looks more like the setting of a dystopian movie than a once-beloved theme park. The entrance gates are locked, the rides are slowly being swallowed by vines, and the eerie silence of the empty park is in stark contrast to what was once meant to be a place of joy and wonder. It's the ultimate cautionary tale, proof that ambition without planning is just a fast track to failure. It's like that one friend who tries way too hard but just doesn't get it right, except in this case, that friend spent millions of dollars and left behind a ghost town. You can copy the rides, the castles, even the branding, but without vision and execution, a dream can turn into a nightmare. Fantasy World, Europe's forgotten imitation. Now let's take a trip to Europe, to the Czech Republic, where Fantasy World once stood as an ambitious attempt to bring Disneyland-style magic to the region. Grand castles, whimsical rides, and fairy tale streets, it had all the makings of something truly special. But there was one major problem. No one came. Despite all the effort put into the design, Fantasy World struggled from the very beginning. Competition from more established European parks like Disneyland Paris made it nearly impossible for this dream to thrive. Economic instability made matters worse, and before long, the park slipped into financial ruin. Today, Fantasy World looks like something out of a surreal, forgotten fairy tale. A castle, once meant to be the centerpiece of a magical kingdom, now stands as a crumbling relic. The pathways that were supposed to be filled with families and laughter are now overgrown with weeds. Every faded sign and broken attraction tells the same story, an idea that never found its audience. It's strange to walk through a place designed for joy and see only silence. It's unsettling, yet fascinating, a peek into what happens when dreams are too big for reality. Even the best-laid dreams can slip away when the numbers don't add up. A castle without visitors is just another ruin. Enchanted Kingdom of the East, the imitation that fizzled out. Next, we're heading to South Korea, where Enchanted Kingdom of the East set out to bring Disney-style magic to the region. The goal? To capture the same sense of wonder, complete with dazzling parades, familiar-looking rides, and a castle that felt oddly familiar. But there was one major problem. What works in one culture doesn't always translate. Between poor planning, financial missteps, and a failure to truly connect with local audiences, this park never found its footing. It wasn't long before attendance dropped, profits dried up, and the dream faded into an eerie, forgotten landscape. Walking through Enchanted Kingdom of the East today is like stepping into a Disneyland that exists in a parallel universe, one where everything feels almost right but just off. The castle, once a beacon of excitement, now sits empty, its towers weathered and cracking. The parade floats that once rolled down its streets are gone, leaving only faded murals of characters no one remembers. This park is a reminder that copying magic isn't the same as creating it. The recipe for Disneyland's success wasn't just about castles and rides, it was about storytelling, execution, and an emotional connection to its audience. Without that, even the grandest of dreams can collapse into silence. Trying to force a formula without understanding its magic is a recipe for failure. Enchanted Kingdom of the East is proof that dreams built on imitation can crumble just as fast as they rise. Magic Mirage, the American dream that became a nightmare. Finally, let's talk about the US theme park that set out to bring budget-friendly Disney magic to the masses. Imagine this, an amusement park with all the charm, characters, and excitement of Disneyland, but at a fraction of the price. Sounds great, right? Well, in reality, it was anything but. Rushed construction, subpar engineering, and a lack of vision quickly turned Magic Mirage into a disaster. The park struggled from day one, and before long, it became clear. Instead of delivering on the dream, it was delivering disappointment. Walking through Magic Mirage now feels like stepping into a theme park after the apocalypse. Ticket booths are empty, turnstiles frozen in time. The carousel, once spinning with laughter and music, now sits motionless, its painted horses chipped and forgotten. It's an eerie modern ghost town, one where you can almost hear the echoes of what it could have been. This place is the ultimate too good to be true story. On paper, it had everything. A concept that made sense, a market that seemed ready. But without solid execution, even the best ideas can fall apart. It's a cautionary tale for every dreamer with big plans and a tight budget. Magic Mirage proves that a cheap knockoff isn't just a weaker version of the original, it can be the total collapse of an idea. When ambition outpaces execution, the dream doesn't just fade, it vanishes. All right, crew. That was our deep dive into the world's abandoned Disney theme parks left in decay. From ambitious copycats to eerie ghost towns, we've seen the highs and lows of theme park dreams gone wrong. We explored the obsessive vision of King Ludwig II, the political and financial chaos that doomed these parks, the messy myths about Disney's own inspirations, and the modern-day ruins that feel like something straight out of a dystopian movie. Some of these places were built with passion, others with pure greed, but in the end, they all tell a story of what happens when ambition collides with reality. Summarizing the 5 secrets.